Hey, everybody.
What's up, Doug?
So we're going to leave everybody muted for now, but if you'd like to make any comments, use the group chat bar on the side of your screen. And we'll get started in just a few minutes. You can share.
Can you right click on me?
Okay.
Oh.
Is that good?
Yeah, now you're co-host. There you go. We are the co-hostesses with the mostesses.
Reminds me of waiting tables at Fridays. Or hostessing.
Who's it? Is that a line from Beetlejuice? All right, lots of folks coming in. As Susan mentioned, we are just going to go ahead and start with everyone on mute, just so that there's not too much background noise. If everyone could, I do want to make sure that everyone can hear us and everyone can see the slides. So if you could go ahead and find the chat box, and in the chat box, go ahead and tell us what district you're from and what club you're from. I would love to hear where everyone's joining us from tonight. And also want to confirm that everyone can see the screen and hear our voices. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Hey, Eloy, 6950, District Governor Eloy. Susan, 6960, home of Lad Waldo.
You found him.
Yeah, you found Waldo. We got Sue from 6960, Marco Island. Got District Governor-elect Donna from 6930. Got Amanda from 7030, Port of Spain West. Thank you all for joining us today. Oh, got some more folks waiting to join the meeting, so I'm gonna let them in. All right, it's 6 o'clock, and we do want to be respectful for everyone's time and make sure that we have time at the end for questions. So let's see, why don't we give everyone, I guess we'll give everyone one more minute. We'll say 6:01, and we'll get it started. Any other folks? Be sure to put in the chat where you're joining us from tonight and your district. Hey, Jessica, 7030, Rotaract Club of San Fernando South. So, Susan, we have a Rotaractor that probably knows more than you and I collectively. So,
and we're going to turn it over to Jessica now.
We're going to hand it off to Jessica.
Thanks for signing in tonight, you guys.
All right. We have a number of Rotary actors joining us tonight, and very excited to have so many participating and joining us on this call. All right, well, it's 6:01, and like I said, we want to go ahead and get started so that we can be respectful of everyone's time and make sure that we have time at the end for questions, discussions, and getting some suggestions from others. I know everyone, you know, it's impossible to know everything about social media. There's so much going on, and there's a lot to be learned amongst the group, so I definitely want to save time for some interactive portions. Hey, Samantha, Rotaract Club of Diego Martin, Trinidad. So, Samantha, you might win the prize for being the farthest south. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us. Well, Susan, do you want to kick it off and tell folks about our interactive portion of our webinar tonight on smartphone photos that don't suck?
Yeah, definitely. So welcome everybody. Thanks so much for signing in this evening. We're going to give you a little challenge to start this off. So as you can see, we're going to be talking about how to improve your photography skills using your smartphone. We're going to give you some great tips tonight. And what we want you to do is find our Zone 3334 Facebook page. It's a public group, and if you look at the top of your chat session on the sidebar there, you'll see the notation as the first comment. And we want you to find our page and post a photo by the end of the session with a comment or maybe something that you learned and appreciate about the no snide remarks about me. If you make them about Marshall, that's fine. And use the hashtag Z34PI webinar. And we'd like to see some posts from you guys.
Well, that's it, and we definitely want you to pull out your phones because it's going to be an interactive session tonight, and in some of the sections we definitely want you to open up your phone and click around some apps and kind of follow along, and do it's almost like a hands-on. So want to make sure that we teach you all some of the tips and tricks and make sure that you can improve your smartphone photos and improve your club and your district's public image. So again, that's hashtag Z34PI webinar. Please find that Facebook public group for zones 33 and 34. Upload a photo with the hashtag, and yeah, I'd love to hear what you learned tonight, or maybe a tip that you have that we didn't cover. That way we can share it with all the folks in zones 33 and 34. So let's go ahead and get kicked off here. Our theme for the year, Be the Inspiration. I think it's a great theme that we have this year under President Barry. We certainly have the opportunity to be the inspiration on our social media, sharing photos and showing how Rotary inspires others and makes a difference in the world. So it's a great theme. Real quickly, a little bit about your presenters tonight. I'm Past District Governor Marshall Butler up in the northeast part of Florida in Jacksonville. West Jacksonville is my club, District 6970. I was governor a couple of years ago and currently serving as Assistant Public Image Coordinator. And when I'm not doing Rotary, my other full-time job is Vice President of Web Solutions for a company called Discover Tech. And there is my family that has a lot of patience and put up with a lot, and very grateful and love those girls. Susan.
And there's me. That's my husband, Adam, and my two kids, Alex and Autumn. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Lakewood Ranch and also District 6960. And my career is a director of business development. I've been in business development for pretty much my whole life, and I work for a national general contractor right now. And there's my contact info if anybody has questions. I cover 6890, 6930, and 6960. That's
right, and that's a great point. For my coverage, I cover 6970, 6950, 6940, and 6980. We also have a colleague, Sheila Bethel. Sheila covers 6900, 7020, 7030, and 7000. And then we also have colleagues in zone 33, but this is only for 34 tonight. So we'll talk about that later on.
And if you're not in one of the zones that we cover, you guys can still feel welcome to reach out to either one of us at any time.
Absolutely. Yeah, always contact us as a resource. I know I went down to 6900 a couple of months ago to speak to that group. So we're certainly willing to come visit and provide any sort of consultation or advice that we can to help you with your public image needs. So tonight, smartphone photos that don't suck. You know, there's a lot that can be captured through a photo. Photos certainly have the power to to tell a story that invokes an emotional response and really, pulls at those heartstrings. And that's what we want to do through our public image campaigns, is tell the story of what is Rotary. The diversity, the impact, the reach, the ways that we make a difference. And a lot of that can be captured not just through the things that we do, but by sharing images. And a lot of those images can be captured on that little device that you carry around in your pocket, your iPhone or Android or whatever device that you cover.
And it doesn't have to be difficult. Just remember a few of these tips and make sure you just have confidence in yourself, do some practice, and try as much as you can to capture the moment. You might not get it on the first time, but continuously practice it and you'll get there. With photography, you want to focus on the connections, especially when you're trying to take photos to promote and enhance the public image of your club. So focus on those connections that we're making in our communities so that your images are telling your story. It's a genuine virtual story, and it's also, you're also using compelling images. It's the best way to get your message across.
That's right. Yeah, because there's certainly, a perception about Rotary, and it's up to us to dispel that perception through using really great imagery and telling the story through photos of what Rotary is and what it means to people. So how do we accomplish that? Well, first off, there's some pretty basic tips. Did you take that photo, Susan?
Haha, I might have.
Well, first of all, one tip is clean your dirty lens. We carry our phones around in our purses and our pockets. Those lenses get smudged, and the first thing you can do if you're really, if you're taking some photos that you really hope to use in the future for a public image campaign, is wipe it off and make sure it's nice and clear. So clean
especially if you have kids that use your phone.
Absolutely, true story. Be mindful of lighting and use natural light if possible. I know a lot of times that's pretty difficult because sometimes there's you're going to take photos in dark environments, but as best you can, make sure that you can find some good lighting and utilize the natural lighting if possible.
And what I like to say with all of these tips is do a practice round. The way our room is set up when we have our meetings, a lot of times the speaker has a window to their back, and it's really difficult to get any shots from that angle with the sun coming in the window because it kind of creates a halo effect and blurs out, any details on their faces or what you're trying to get a focal point of. So take some practice shots and see where the best angle is, and you'll get there.
That's a great suggestion. I mean, take lots and lots of photos. It's not like the old days when you had to take the film into the drugstore and have it processed. We have the ability to take thousands and thousands of photos, delete the ones we don't like, experiment, test out the spots in our clubs that are good for photo taking, and just do it by doing it. Take a lot of photos and test out what works for you and your club, or when you're out on a service project. Yeah, that's a great one. Take your time and set up the perfect shot, or at least steady your shot. So make sure that you compose your photo, and make sure that you're not moving when you're taking the photo, although a lot of times that does happen, but be steady when you take it so it's not too blurry. And there we go. That's the tip we just said. If time is limited, or just in general, take a lot of images, find the ones that work, edit, and use those, and delete all the others. Don't get your thumb shot. Perfect. But also, don't use Zoom unless unavoidable. That's because when you use the Zoom on your phone, you're actually increasing the size of the pixels being used by the photo, and it creates what we call pixelization. And if you ever want to use that photo for a high-res photo, like a print piece or something like that, you've already compromised the integrity of that photo by using your phone's zoom feature. So if you need to zoom, move in or move out appropriately to make the subject larger or smaller without using the artificial zoom on the phone. And if you have to use the zoom, I mean, by all means use it, but a lot of times you can adjust your shot and avoid using zoom just by moving in or farther back. Just don't take that last step back into the pool.
And if you have an iPhone, I'm not sure how it is on the other applications, but if you have an iPhone, there's a focus square that will come up when you're ready to take a picture, and it'll actually focus on, if there's people in the shot, it'll focus on their head, and if you tap it and hold down, it can lock your shot in focus on their faces. So that's another tip that you can use to help set up that perfect shot you're trying to get.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Let me take a little note here. Absolutely. So everyone should go ahead and take out their phones if you haven't already. If you haven't already started participating in our challenge, take out your photo or your phone so you can kind of follow along with us, and maybe you can find that little spot that your iPhone is focusing on, and practice with that at your desk or your computer right now. Again, that's what Susan just mentioned. It's an opportunity to adjust the focus in the exposure of your photo. And you know, a lot of times in the past, we've told folks, you know, there's a lot of third-party apps, third-party tools that you can go to the App Store and find other apps and tools for photos. But anymore, a lot of the basic functions that are baked into your phones are pretty powerful, and you can accomplish a lot without having to go to those third-party apps, just by using the native camera application in your phone. So, you know, kind of you know, test out that native app first, see if it meets most of your needs, and you know, kind of get really proficient at that, and then you might find that there might be a tool or a functionality that it's missing, and then maybe go out and search for that. But I would highly recommend just getting a basic understanding of the built-in phone camera app first. HDR mode. Susan, oh, somebody marked up the screen. Susan, are you familiar with HDR mode?
There's a setting on the iPhone that you can change to, it's in your photo settings on the iPhone.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it now, see if I can bring it up on at least on my camera.
Okay. Again, back to not to use Zoom unless completely unavoidable. Use the right shooting mode. The built-in apps nowadays have a lot of different options. Square, photo, portrait, panographic. You know, Square is one that's been really popularized by Instagram. They take the Square photos, and it's a great way to kind of crop and frame and get what you want right in that little 1x1 square. Portrait mode, we're going to show some examples later on in the deck of portrait mode, but it really creates an emphasis on that central point of focus right in front of the camera, and kind of blurs the background. Panographic is great if you're taking a large shot of people. A lot of times, you know, we take some group shots of people that maybe just got a Paul Harris Fellow, or just were inducted to a club. Hopefully we're inducting, you know, 50 people at a time and need to use a big wide range shot. Those are great tools that you can use. Third-party apps, of course, like I said, if the built-in app doesn't have everything you need, go to take a look in your app store and look for recommendations there. Really, you know, take your time again and frame your shot. Make sure that it captures what it is that you want that photo to say, and you know, take a lot of photos though, and you're gonna get that right photo in there. But be patient and wait for the photo to come to you. Susan, you want to talk about the rule of thirds?
Yeah, so when you're taking a photo, we have a few examples coming up a little bit later, but try to get, if you basically divide your screen into a set of squares, you'll have 9 squares on your screen, and you want to have say if it's a portrait, you want to have it centered in the middle of your screen. It's just really getting a good balance on your photo, making sure you're centering the object so it'll come out right.
Yeah, again, this comes down to composing your shot and making sure that you know, it's a good shot that you framed. If you're on your phone right now, you may see the grid line that comes up that Susan was mentioning, and it's just, and there's a lot more detail that you can find on the internet about how to use the rule of thirds to make sure that you provide you know, space to kind of provide context of what the person is doing or what's going on in the shot. without crowding the shot, and really providing a very visually appealing shot that tells the story that you're trying to accomplish. So rule of thirds is certainly something that you should explore. Again, turning off the flash. Empty space is okay, like I just said. Provide your subject with some space, so it's not too crowded, and it can be truly the focal point of your photo. But one of the most important things that we can tell you in terms of advanced tips is save those full resolution photos. Don't compress them or save them down to small thumbnail size photos. But if at all possible, and phones nowadays have so much storage space, please save those full resolution photos, because you will find uses for photos well into the future. I was telling Susan earlier, I have an album on my phone called Rotary, and I will save photos to that Rotary album on my phone. And then I've used a tool called If This Then That. It's an internet app that really connects my iPhone's photo album to my Dropbox. And so I'm taking all these high resolution photos, and then this tool automatically downloads those photos into my Dropbox for future use. And if I ever need to go find a photo for anything, a PowerPoint deck, or I need to print a brochure or anything like that, I can go look in that folder on my Dropbox and find all those full resolution photos. And one of the biggest challenges that we have, I know doing other things at the district and the zone level, a lot of times we ask folks, hey, we need some full resolution photos because we want to put it up on the screen and show folks what you're doing. And we'll get photos that have been severely compressed, 200 pixels by 200 pixels. And when you blow that up to fill up an entire screen, it's really unusable because they're so pixelated. If they had saved those photos in a high resolution mode, it would be much easier to use for those other uses in the future. So if at all possible, always save your photos as full resolution, because you're always going to be asked for photos to use for other purposes, whether it's print or PowerPoint decks, or maybe a brochure for your club or your district. So try to keep a copy of all those photos as full resolution and not the thumbnail.
I do want to add on the patience is the key. You want to get a shot that captures the emotion. So, again, don't interrupt if it's an emotional moment that's taking place. Be patient, take a moment and capture it. But at the same time, if you see a good shot and you missed it, walk up to, whomever was in the shot doing that action, whether it was, shoveling some dirt or, hammering a nail or whatever they were doing that was an activity, and ask them to do it again. Maybe do it a couple times until you get the right shot. You don't want it to look staged, but if it was a great shot, try it a couple of different times and maybe a couple of different ways, and see if you can actually capture what you want to. And then again, just with the having empty space, that all goes back to capturing the emotion. If you allow that extra space in your frame, when you go back and edit the photos, then you have the opportunity to zoom in on maybe a child's face that was just so passionate, and you can't go back and uncrop it later. So have that extra space so that you can crop in and really add to that photo, add the emotion to that photo by zooming in after the fact.
Excellent. Perfect. All right. So we'll go to the next slide. Portrait mode is one of the ones that we just mentioned. Susan, who's that handsome young man on the far left?
Oh, that's Alex. That's my little guy. He's about 3 years old.
All right.
There.
And then
Singing in the rain.
And on the far right, we have the daughter of Kelsey Scoggins, who originally put this deck together for us. She couldn't make it with us tonight, but there's her daughter on the far left in the portrait mode. And in the middle
is, Marshall?
I'm not sure who that guy is. He's a very earnest Rotarian from District 6920. We never got his name, but a great example of portrait mode where you focus on him and the cars in the background are faded back. So Kelsey thought that was a good example of portrait mode. Just we're not sure who that man is, but he's a handsome Rotarian. Props and words. Another great way to really annotate photos, to add extra emphasis. Like I said, a lot of the tools that you'll find nowadays, either on your phone or in a social media tool like Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram, they all have the functionality to add, annotate with words or with stock clip art, filters. There's a lot that you can do within these apps now to really provide extra information about what's going on in the photo. Add a hashtag. Hopefully, maybe create a viral hashtag that people will follow. We were giving Kelsey a hard time for the polio pinky challenge because her pinky wasn't purple. I think that was the before photo. So I thought that was a good photo. But again, there's a lot of tools out there that you can use to really annotate and add extra character to your photos. Somebody asked if that's a gopher trap. I'm not sure what that is, but I think they were planting a tree. That might have been during President Ian's focus on planting trees. That's a small tree, but someday it'll be a mighty oak, I'm sure. But I think that's showing the use of filters, focusing on that center and kind of blurring around the edges. Let's see. Tell the story. Susan, you know the story.
Yeah, so this is Kelsey Mitchell, one of our counterparts, and she's from District 6960, and when the Hurricane Irma came through, she went down with a huge group of Rotarians and other volunteers, and they went house to house helping do cleanup and provide relief efforts. And she actually worked with another volunteer down there who came down from Georgia, and got to know him, and they have since been married. And her Rotary story talks a lot about how she's volunteered and really given back to her community, but then it's benefited her life because she has a new family now with 2 new children through him. And it's a really great story. She tells it a lot better than I can, but these are some of the images that are capturing her experience there. That is not her with one of her children in the top right. I think she actually mentioned in this slide that it would be better if she had the mother along with her in the photo, but I think it really does capture what a good time she's having, and a little bit of her muscles too there.
That's right, that's right. And the caption for the photo in the very middle was "Chicks with chainsaws."
There you go. Lucky be free.
Stay away from the chicks with chainsaws. And this is an example of some photos that I was a part of and took that told a story about a service project we did down in Jamaica. I guess it was the first week of the 2016-2017 Rotary year with President John Germ, where we built a peace garden at a home for abused girls in Jamaica. These girls had been abused sexually, physically, mentally, and it was really compelling and emotional being a part of this. I remember there was barbed wire on the fence around the home, not to keep the girls in, but to keep people out, to protect the girls from people that wanted to do them harm from their past. And we built a peace garden. President John there digging he knew the working end of a shovel and jumped right in and helped plant some shrubs. I was painting a bench there, and at the end we successfully wrapped up the peace garden at this home for young girls. But this was a great story, and it was a very emotional time, and it was a great experience of why you would want to be in Rotary and demonstrating the people of action. But the real story around this entire experience is this next photo, and that's my daughter in the middle. And we were not allowed to take photos of the young ladies at this home for their own protection. And it was amazing to watch my daughter, and both my daughters, go to this home and meet these young ladies that had wildly different life experiences than their own, but to immediately learn how much they had in common. And I mean, this is just a couple of hours after they met, arms wrapped around each other, talking about movies and music and makeup and hairstyles, and really seeing the power of Rotary and how Rotary connects people and makes a difference in people's lives. And I think this one photo here really summarizes the entire experience for all of us to see the impact that we had spending time with these young ladies. And so that's a story that is pretty poignant for me, and I think really tells the story of how Rotary makes a difference in the world.
I just want to remind you guys as we head through this PowerPoint, if you have any questions, please use the group chat and post your questions to Marshall and I, and we'll cover those as we go through.
Absolutely. Next up, again, with these photos, you have the opportunity to really capture emotion and really tell a story and let people, it's almost a glimpse into what's going on in a project or within Rotary. I think Kelsey said that photo on the far right, that's her daughter, and that's when they did a special project with foster children. And her daughter, at the end of the event, found out, was told what it meant to be a foster child, and just to see the raw emotion on her face of of that realization and what it meant to her and being able to help, it's pretty powerful. And of course, we always love to see the photo like the one in the middle of those young kids getting the 2 drops, and the mom in the background so happy to see their child is going to be protected from that terrible disease of polio. So you can really convey some emotion and really pull some heartstrings with a well-timed shot and capturing what's going on within what Rotary does.
And you'll notice that the photographer in these didn't walk up to the group and say, everybody smile or everybody look. They again waited patiently and took a photo and really captured that raw emotion.
Absolutely. Taking tips from others. There's a lot of techniques and styles that you can emulate. A lot of it can just be from observing your own Facebook feeds or Instagram feeds or Twitter feeds and just seeing what people are doing and how they're using the different tools, the photos that they're taking. I can tell you that nowadays a great way to get inspiration for how to take great smartphone photography and learn how to use the tool is to go to Instagram. And on Instagram, not only can you follow individuals and people now, but you can also follow hashtags. You can find a hashtag that you like, and you can tell Instagram, I want to see all photos that use this hashtag. And I know I've followed, I think it's People of Action, and then I've also followed Service Above Self. And it's really cool to see how other Rotary clubs around the world use Instagram to show their projects and their stories and their fundraisers and how their clubs and to see how they use photography. And so find a couple of hashtags that might be of interest, go over to Instagram and start following them. And I think, again, there's no reinventing the wheel. I think we can learn a lot from each other and just learning how others use the tools and get inspiration from other Rotary clubs.
And it's okay to take their ideas and integrate them into your own clubs and districts. If you see some really good ideas of, silly photos people are doing or, different effects they're using, use those ideas and, they'll probably, be happy that if they see that you're reposting their things. So, I was talking to Marshall before this and we were talking about, I know there's some Rotaractors on here, we were talking about how great the Rotaract Instagram pages, and they had so many really cool pictures of them, people in action, but they also have really cool graphics using the Rotary logo and the Rotaract logo. So try to, just do some investigating tonight on some of the social media avenues and see what you can find.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's another great source of inspiration when it comes to using social media tools and photos. Exchange students. Exchange students are they're the digital natives that have grown up using phones and smartphones, and it's an extension of their bodies, I think, that they know how to use these tools so well. So find exchange students and take photos with them and see what they're doing with their cameras. It's funny. We walk around with a device in our pockets that is capable of creating 4K high definition photos. And I know I get separation anxiety whenever I leave the house or anywhere without my phone. And I'm sure most people are like me. And so we always have these tools in our pocket. I don't think many people are ever without their phones. And we have these devices that we can use at any given moment to capture Rotarians as people of action. And we need to remember that you're only reaching into your purse or reaching into your pocket away from really capturing some great stuff of what Rotary is doing in the community. And we need to be cognizant of that and grab those phones and take some photos. And here, sometimes you have to go to great lengths for a great shot. This was a photo that was taken in Rio de Janeiro in front of the giant Christ statue. And that is a president of a Rotary club in Jacksonville. And he asked me to lay down and get a photo for him. So be creative when you're framing your shots. And I wish I'd kept the photo that I took because it was really neat. But you can get very creative in the way that you use perspective and the way that you frame the shot. And it can really turn out to be something special. Just don't settle for standing in front of someone and taking a photo. Really think about the way that you're going to frame the shot and think about how that shot might turn out. You just might need a little bit of help getting up like I did. Another great thing that we can do with our smartphones is as we're traveling the world, take photos whenever you see the Rotary wheel and post it, to different channels because nothing shows the reach and the how global Rotary is than showing the wheel in different places around the world. And I think it's incredible to see Rotary wheels on the side of roads or see them on buildings, and just to see the impact that Rotary has. And it's a great chance for us, again, in our social feeds to say, hey, I'm traveling, I just saw this Rotary wheel, this Rotary club provided this peace garden, or they made this this library possible, or they did this. And it really shows, again, the reach of Rotary around the world, and really can be a dialogue starter, a conversation starter for folks to say, hey, that's pretty cool. I didn't know Rotary, was so far reaching. And just by taking a photo of a Rotary wheel somewhere on Earth. And at one point I started a Google map where I was pinning, these photos of Rotary wheels all over the world. And it's pretty cool to see, just all these different places that you can just drive down the road. We all do it every day. You see the Rotary wheel and you remember what a great organization we're a part of.
I think you can incorporate that too. If you have a really diverse club, make sure you're capturing that culture when you take photos of the members of your club. Make sure you're capturing that and sharing that, hey, look how diverse of an organization we are, just to tag on to what you just said.
Absolutely. Here's some fun shots of people in clubs, not just standing in front of a sign, but, show some emotion. I mean, some of these, we always talk about be careful with the photos around the lectern or in front of the Rotary banner and stuff like that. Just show that, we have a pulse and we're having a good time. And like Susan just said, show the diversity of Rotary and show what a great group of people, how much fun it is to spend time with other folks like Rotarians. Went the wrong way.
And this photo, oh, yeah, yep. There you go.
Which photo?
This photo in the middle is actually a new member induction. How many times have you seen or done, because I've done it before, but you take a picture of the membership chair or the president of the club, and they're handing the certificate to the new member, or they're shaking hands, or they're just standing there holding it like this in front of them.
Yeah.
And what captures the emotion? Like this excited new member, but Alexis throwing her hands in the air.
Who would be excited to be a part of a Rotary club, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a fun club right there.
That's right. And by the way, that is Alexis on the far right pointing at my pants.
Your pants. Yeah.
My pants. I am often asked to take pictures with my pants, so I thought I should throw that in.
As opposed to without them.
Always. This is Rotary is a family-friendly group. This is a funny photo that our colleague Sheila took, and a very straight-faced, serious group of Rotarians here. And then she asked them, she said, all right, y'all, act like you're having a good time. Act like you're having you're glad to be a Rotarian. And so they got a little bit more excited. And that's what we need to do. We need to let folks know that, hey, we're really proud to be a part of this organization. We're having a good time, and it's a lot of fun. This next photo is truly an example of some enthusiastic Rotarians. It's a group of Rotarians that I think they had just collected 500 or 5,000 pounds of food for the local food bank, and they're a small but mighty club. They're called the Can Do Club, and they were pretty excited about what they had just done. And so that screams enthusiasm. That's their current president, Davey, in the front, and they were pretty excited about raising the food for the food bank. So, I mean, if you're scrolling through a feed, that's the kind of stuff that gets people's attention. That's the stuff that says, holy cow, Rotarians are people of action. They're doing some pretty neat stuff. They look a little crazy, but they're having a good time.
That's awesome.
More Rotarians in action. These are great photos that, again, capture the emotion, capture the moment, show that, you know, Rotarians make a difference in the world, who we serve and why we do it.
You can find some really good pictures that Rotary International has in the Brand Center and get some ideas of really what powerful images are for our different areas of focus. There's some really great images you can look at there as well.
Extremely powerful photos, absolutely. And they're all, you can download them in high resolution if you need to use them for a brochure or a PowerPoint or a video. There's a tremendous amount of photography available on the Rotary Brand Central, for sure. This is a great example of, you know, Rotary really gives us a good framework that we can use for our public image campaigns. One of them is the 6 areas of focus for the foundation. And it's very easy to show the way that we make a difference in our community and abroad every day around those 6 areas of focus: clean water, literacy, maternal health, economic development, peace and conflict resolution, disease prevention. So we can really, when you're thinking of taking photos, think about how they tie back to the foundation. And pretty much every project that you do, everything that you do as a Rotary Club, somehow ties back to that one of those areas of focus, and call attention to that, because, you know, people have a lot of varied passions and things that they're interested in, and I always tell people, you can find a place for that inside of Rotary. You can bring that passion to Rotary and leverage Rotary and Rotarians and the network that you get through Rotary to really act on that passion and make a difference. And so if we can continuously tell people, you know, we've got these 6 areas of focus within our foundation, and you can bring your passion to Rotary and really act on it, I think that's a really compelling story that, you know, again, drives public image, but also drives membership.
And if you get a really good picture, like this one on the top left, one of our members took when they were in Peru visiting a water project that we actually completed with a grant. And this is the picture that we use. We call it our poster child. We've used this for the last 3 years as our main photo to promote our Walk for Water events. So just that one photo that somebody took on one of their trips came back, and we've used it to help us, in a sense, raise thousands of dollars to help support future grants and future projects. It's, you know, one powerful photo that you can get can really turn into a lot of future uses and successes down the road for your club.
Well, Susan, now you guys need to send people back down there and take photos of those kids today.
Right.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be cool, then and now.
Get them to reenact that photo. Backgrounds, you know, backgrounds are pretty easy to have made anymore with pop-ups and stuff like that. You can create your kind of Rotary red carpet backdrop to take photos in front of. Props. There's past Rotary International Director Robert Hall with a flathead of John Cena at the district conference that 6900 had in Sandestin last year. But again, you know, props like that, they help you promote your hashtag. They help you promote Rotary. They've got the People of Action, although Robert's covering that with his hand. But you know, props are another great way to spice up a photo and really attract attention and kind of break up the norm and create a photo that people are going to take notice of. I think myrotary.org also has some backgrounds that you can use to use as backdrops. They've got some automatic downloads that you can just download and send off to a printer like Russell Hampton or someone like that to make those backdrops.
And have fun with it.
That's right. Speaking of having fun, Susan.
Yeah, so let's talk about a few things to watch out for when you're taking photos. This is a picture of me when I went to Belize last year, and though I thought it would have been an awesome selfie, but the only thing I can see when I look at it is my arm and my hands holding the phone and my sunglasses. So, you know, I could probably get rid of it with a different angle, but at the same time, just take off the glasses. You have to look out for that when you're taking photos of other people, and also if there are windows in the background, you know, you could always capture a great picture, but if in the background it's reflecting you taking the picture, it might divert attention away from the meaning you're trying to get with the picture. So just kind of look out for that. Also hats, if you're taking pictures of anyone wearing a hat, a lot of times they could be looking down enough to where the hat's either covering their face or shading their face. So, you know, if you're taking photos of outdoor projects, look out for those sunglasses and look out for those hats. Sunlight in the background, I touched on that a little bit earlier. If you have a high amount of sunlight behind the people that you're taking pictures of, then it's going to distort your picture and it's not going to come out clear. So try to focus your angle on where the light works best. And again, just practicing that, taking a few shots from a few different angles can help out. Words and logos on clothing and hats, try to avoid those in photos as much as possible, unless it's Rotary. We always like to see the Rotary emblem and Rotary garb in our photos. You can even encourage people to wear their Rotary shirts to a project where you're going to be taking photos. Maybe not necessarily all the same shirt, so you don't all have to match in your same, you know, district.
Or Rotary pants. District
polo or Rotary pants, yes. Thank you, Marshall. But, you know, wear the Rotary logo and help promote that, but do watch out for other logos and stuff that could be on clothing. Closed eyes, I think closing eyes in photos is genetic because half of the photos my husband takes, his eyes are closed, and my daughter is the same way. She's always has her eyes closed in photos, but don't, you know, be considerate of others. Don't post photos or share photos that really aren't very appealing to some of the people that are in them, and try to have everyone with their eyes open as much as possible. And just background no-nos, you know, watch out for photo bombs and other things in the background that you might not want to appear in your pictures.
Absolutely, and I think we have some examples of those later on we'll have to share. Those are very good points.
And again, these are all really just points to go by, but I recommend what you can do is just review the pictures.
Yeah. Now think about Alexis coming into Rotary, and now look at these people coming into Rotary.
Yeah. So, you know, these are some examples. That's an example of a kind of a stale picture of a new member induction. You know, they're lined up. They're not even close to each other, like they really like each other. This guy in the back, I think they drug up here and said, "Can you please stand in the picture?" And he was like, "All right."
Okay.
You know, it's nice that we have smiling faces, but let's get some action in there. Throw your hands up in the air and wave your certificates around and make it exciting. So.
No, there's your photo bomb.
No, let's be careful when we're taking photos. Look in the background and see what. Sometimes photo bombs can be really funny. I bet you would get a lot of attention if you had a photo like this. But in all seriousness, watch out for photo bombs. And I have another example up here of a really boring one.
Yeah, and I can tell everyone, as we were putting this deck together, just go to Google and do a Google for photo bombs. Some of them were not quite appropriate, although they were hilarious, but we didn't think they were appropriate in this slide deck. But do an image search on Google for photo bombs. And
yeah, you have to scroll down quite a bit until you start to get to more appropriate ones for some reason or another.
It's a real treat, though, let me tell you. Here's your playground photo, Susan.
Yeah, So what an awesome idea, you know, the Rotary builds a playground. Where are all the kids playing in the playground and enjoying the playground? It's
Well, we're trying to
great
crop
that
them out over there on the left. That kid,
they
that kid
crop
snuck
them
into the
out.
photo. Get that kid out of the photo.
It's a beautiful sign, but let's get some action going in here. That, you know, these staged photos, they're stale, they're dated, and, you know, leave it to you know, the newspaper photographers to take those and run with a press release. Let's get some
That's
action
the
shots.
Rotary Club of Williamstown Sunry. Didn't even let you see the whole club name. Oh.
And none of these photos are from our zone. There you go. There's my picture.
Yeah.
Right there, presenting a check. All right, how many pictures have you seen on Facebook of Rotary clubs presenting a check? And it's not even straight in this picture. It is covering half of this woman. So,
Yep.
you know, I have a great idea if you want to present a check in a picture. Get a really good action shot and then have someone photobomb holding the check up in the background.
That's right.
There you go. There's a really fun check presentation there. But again, in all seriousness, let's try to get away from those. Maybe capture your speaker talking to the president and post it with a quick blurb about, we donated X amount of money for this playground. You know, get some more candid shots in there versus the one that are just.
Or even if you really want to post, maybe you just want to post the check photo. I mean, it is a point of pride to see a check for $100,000, but don't post the check picture until you post the impact picture. Show the before and after. Show the impact of that check, because that's really what it's about. It's not about the check. It's about what the check did. I think that's what we forget sometimes, is what was the purpose of that check and how did it benefit the community.
And when you're taking pictures, so if you do have a new member induction, I'm not saying don't post a picture of the president and the new member. They don't have to be throwing their hands up in the air like Alexis. It doesn't have to be that much excitement, but, you know, have them, just a tip, have them tilt their heads in towards each other if they're taking a shot with the two of them. Get them closer together in the photo. Maybe get the Rotary backdrop, your banner in the backdrop. You know, make it look a little bit less like they're forced to be there and more like they want to be there. They're happy about it.
I think I saw this picture on Trump's Twitter feed, though, by the way.
Don't tell them I used it.
So now what?
So now what? You've learned how to take amazing photos with your smartphone. I bet you've already taken several tonight, right? What are we going to do with these photos? So you've heard me say and Marshall say posting. You know, obviously, our social media channels and apps on the phone make it so easy for you to automatically upload your content to these channels. So get these powerful photos and post them. Post the content on your social media channels, and then add a line about what it is. Welcome our new member from so-and-so business. You know, congratulations, we collected 500 pounds of food today. Thanks for all your help. So post this information so you can continue to enhance the public image of your club and let people know what you're doing in your community. Create Facebook and Instagram stories. You know, the great thing about this, and we're going to talk a lot more about this on our next session coming up, dealing with social media channels on March 12th, I believe, so tune into that webinar. But you can we'll talk about adding stories, but you can use your photos and stories on social media to make it more personal. One of the benefits of creating stories on Facebook and Instagram is you have the opportunity to make a greater connection with your audience. And you're telling a story versus just adding a post. You can also add to your story once or twice a week, and it creates another space for your content to go live and it sticks around, whereas your post will go to the bottom of the feed. There's different algorithms that they use, so you can get more feed out of your stories versus just a post. What else can you use them for? Again, the reason we want you to save your pictures, your images in high resolution is so that you can use them in newsletters, your press releases, any ads you're going to do. For social media, you don't need nearly as high a resolution, but if you're going to blow a picture up and use it for any print, then it's going to need a higher resolution. You could use them for your website. So maybe you have an awesome Facebook page or an awesome Instagram page. But tie that into your website and collaborate on your whole online presence. Utilize those great photos on your website so that if someone goes to your page and they're not familiar with Rotary and what Rotary does in your community, they'll automatically see your members being active and making a difference. And then lastly up here, the People of Action campaign. Last but definitely not least, Rotary International is continuing to add more items and options for you and the people in the Brand Center under the People of Action section. And my poster child photo that I mentioned earlier, this took me just a couple of minutes, not even, to put together a People of Action image that I can utilize. This is formatted for Facebook. And I just uploaded the image, cropped it how I want it, and put the transform word in there. You can select from several different options or make your own. And I can use this I've used it for a billboard ad in a theater that we play in the local theater here. We've used it for some of our posters. So integrate it into the People of Action campaign and grab those powerful images and then transform them or integrate them into People of Action. And then
speaking of People of Action,
yes,
you have your do's and don'ts, but mostly don'ts.
Yeah, mostly don'ts. Again, the style guide is available on the Brand Center, and we're also going to have another webinar on
That's in April, right?
9th.
Yep.
That's talking about navigating myrotary.org and the Brand Center. But this is a clip I took from the style guide, and this is geared only towards People of Action materials. So photos that you're using for People of Action materials. There's some great photos in here, but if you're going to be doing a create your own on the People of Action, you want to try to avoid things like people looking directly at the camera, poor lighting, large groups of individuals, lack of a focal point. Again, when you have a little bit of the text on top of these pictures, if you don't have a focal point, your message is going to get lost and it's going to look kind of like a jumbled mess there. They're also saying don't use any single people in your photos and from awkward angles. So, again, you can download this guideline off the Brand Center and utilize that if you're going to want to put together a People of Action materials. These are just some tips for you, again, on what photos we're looking for. And again, if you guys have questions on where to find this or what materials are available for the People of Action campaign, you can type them into the chat here and we can respond to you, or just tune into our navigatingmyrotary.org in a couple of months.
And speaking of other resources and ways to contact us, you can always go to myrotarystory.org. That's the official website of the Zone 34 Public Image Team, and there you'll find some resources. We like to upload these decks and recordings to that website so that you can go back and refer to that, see some of the tools that we use, find our contact information. So be sure to go to the myrotarystory.org website and find some of those resources. And another great thing you can find on that website, though, is we've asked people to take their iPhones and just in a minute or two provide their My Rotary story. What was that moment where you went from a Rotary Club member to a Rotarian? And there's some pretty cool stories on the website of when people had that aha moment and truly became a Rotarian. So you want to check that out. Susan, you want to talk about the public image citation?
Yeah, so hopefully everyone knows about the public image citation. There are the brochure that you see in front of you is also on our website, the myrotarystory.org, and you can download it. And the deadline is coming up, I believe it's March 31st. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, tying that into our presentation today, you can utilize these photos that you're taking to enhance your club's public image and awareness by, sending out news releases, coordinating different activities with the community. And, really the whole intention here is for our clubs to take more awareness on what they're doing to share the culture and the story of their club with others. So we're trying to generate awareness with people who aren't familiar with Rotary, but also maybe Rotarians who have become disengaged. So please take some time to review the requirements for the public image citation. If you have any questions on how to put together a public image plan, we also had a webinar on that earlier this year that you can go to myrotarystory.org and view. And again, Marshall and I and Sheila and Kelsey, we're all here for resources if you need any assistance with it.
All right. So we challenged everyone to take a photo, use the hashtag Z34PI webinar, and to find the Zone 3334 Facebook public group and post a photo. And I guess we need to go check that. Well, while we're checking that, let me check the chats and see if we have any questions. Go over here and, oh, here's a question for you, Susan. Amanda said, personally, I don't like to overdo photo taking while on a project because I prefer to get the job done and make an impact. Absolutely. Doing this has caused me to miss a lot of moments. How do I successfully balance the both? It's a great question.
Yeah, and I would, maybe some pre-planning on that end, maybe designate someone leading up to the project to be a photographer for the project, or just talk to the group ahead of time. And, everyone that's going to come, they're going to have their cell phones with them. We understand you don't want to miss any of the important moments, but if they're maybe resting or taking a break and see a really great photo option, just have everyone sort of be aware and be on the lookout that there might be that opportunity coming up. So, those are two suggestions for you not having to be the only designated person taking photos.
Absolutely. Good point. All right, let's find the share, and we're going to go to my iPhone and see, did anyone do this?
I also want to issue another challenge to everybody that participated. Hey, Marshall.
Hey, I did it.
Starting now for the next month, try to take one photo, at least one photo every day. It could be of your pet, your kids, it could be of the Rotary speaker or someone you're sitting next to at a Rotary meeting. It could be selfies. But try to take one picture every day, and you'll see yourself being able to get more comfortable with the applications and the different modes. And by the end of the month, hopefully you'll have some photos that you can look back on and say, hey, this was a good one. Let me try to do a better job. Or, hopefully you'll have some in your library that you can utilize.
Okay, so me and Donna win the prize. We both participated. What do we get, Susan?
You get to teach the next webinar.
Dang it.
Oh.
What, does Donna have to help me?
Donna can sign in.
I had the wrong, I put P-I-Z, so that's why I actually had a couple on there, but I put the wrong.
It's close enough. You still get to help me on the next webinar. Okay, so let's see, Nadine.
Somebody's saying they can't post in the group.
Yeah, I guess that's probably an admin privilege to the group. I don't know if you have to be admitted to the group first. I'm not sure, Nadine. We're going to check that out.
Nadine, have you actually liked the group before?
Let me unmute Nadine.
Used it, aren't we?
Yeah. Where's Nadine?
You were already.
There she is. Unmute.
She's saying that she already was approved.
Oh, okay. Huh.
That's strange. I have no idea.
I blame Sheila.
Gee, thanks, Marshall. I've been very, very good. I've sat here and not said a word so far. Be careful.
Except for the picture of the pants.
That's right. Any other questions or tips? Or I think we're right at 7, so we did use up all of our time. But definitely, if there's any other questions, would be happy to answer them. If not, Susan sent her email address. Let me add mine to the entire group so that if you need anything, please reach out to us. So everyone, I am marshall@rotary6970.org. Be happy to answer questions. And I guess, Sheila, will get this recording uploaded to the website for folks that want to watch it again?
I'll have that up in the next couple of days.
Okay.
It goes up as a recording of the actual session, and we also post the
slide deck.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So that you can download from there. Okay.
Okay. And Susan's posting the next webinar. If you haven't already registered, it's going to be March 12th at 6 p.m. and it's going to be on social media. I know we did cover a couple of tips tonight on some social media and how to use your smartphone photography that doesn't suck on social media, but we'll get a lot more into the weeds with the various applications and talk about some advanced tips and tricks on those. And as always, we're always looking for ideas for new webinars. So if there's anything that you would like us to cover that we haven't covered or it isn't on the schedule, please send us a note. Let us know what it is that the challenges that you might have in your district. We'd be happy to maybe put together something and address those issues.
Yeah,
okay.
If you have any more questions, the email addresses for Susan and Marshall are on the chat. Please send them in and we will get back to you as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
Nadine, can you let us know as well if you managed to resolve the issue with posting?
Okay. I see that someone else said that they tried to post and they couldn't. They were from the Rotary Club of New Kingston. And then Nadine is suggesting that we update the flyer to include United States and Caribbean time. The Caribbean folks.
I'm in the Caribbean, and it's the same as the Eastern U.S. So.
Okay. All right.
How many islands I'm not sure how many islands it varies on.
We've annexed a number of islands, so there may be a couple.
I need to say U.S. Eastern time. So.
That's right. Okay.
And it will be the same time every month as tonight.
That's right. Always 6 p.m. Eastern time. Although the next one will be 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I guess that is a concern.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed the session tonight. Thank you, Susan, for bailing me out again. Susan always does a great job of making sure these webinars go smoothly. And Sheila is just the wind beneath our wings. Thank you, Sheila.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
I'm sure that's not what you say behind my back, Marshall.
And this is where the shenanigans start.
Let me tell you, your public image team has a great time. So if there's anything we can do to help you all, please be sure to reach out.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for participating. I hope that you'll be back for our next couple of webinars. Any comments, anything you think we should have done differently, please feel free to let us know. Send your complaints to Marshall, please.
On the back of a $100 bill, always. Yeah, all suggestions on $100 bills. Anyway, all right, folks, have a good evening. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Okay.